I want to talk a little bit about the federal court system. I've covered this to some extent in earlier postings, particularly when I was talking about the Buffalo Creek disaster. But what I'm going to do now is go to the textual outline, and I'm turning to page 9, and we're looking at federal courts. And we could go from the top down. So at the top of the ladder in our federal court system, we have the Supreme Court of the United States. As I'm sitting here in my office this afternoon, I've been paying a little bit of attention to the confirmation hearings in the Senate regarding whether or not Judge Barrett should be confirmed, and she will be because of the numbers, to the Supreme Court. Well, we got a chief judge and 8 associate justices. By the way, that number is not a constitutional requirement, and Congress can add to or subtract from the numbers. And it's the ability of Congress to add to the numbers that has people talking about a so-called court packing plan should Vice President Biden be elected president. And as much as I'd like to talk about that, I'm going to move on and stay within the confines of the courts. And so then we have our intermediate appellate courts next, and those are divided into 12 regional circuits. And we could say that 12 regional circuits divided geographically. In western New York, we are in the Second Circuit, which is headquartered in New York City. So if we have an appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeals Second Circuit, we have the ability to have our client pay for a trip to New York City. And then our entry-level courts are called the district courts. As you can see, the U.S. district courts in Western New York, our district court is the United States District Court for the Western District of New York. As you can see, that the paragraph I'm now looking at, the district court also has the bankruptcy courts in them. And as you see at the very bottom, I've got federal courts relevant to Erie County, and that is the local federal district court, is the U.S. District Court for the Western District of New York. And we then have, if we were to appeal, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. Our next topic is the type of cases that can go into federal court, or if you will, subject matter jurisdiction of federal courts, which I have up on the screen. And essentially, there are 2 categories of cases that can go to federal court. One category would be a case where the claim is under federal law, and I have that listed as federal question jurisdiction. And then we have what's known as diversity jurisdiction, and that would be a case under state law. And I've drawn that distinction earlier as between state law and federal law, but a case under state law that's brought in the U.S. District Court because the plaintiff and defendant are citizens of different states, and the amount of controversy, as they say, is in excess of $75,000. By the way, Congress sets that monetary limit. When I first started practicing law, which was a few years ago, the monetary limit was $30,000. So inflation and the passage of time has added to the increasing amount, according to Congress. Now, for an example of a case that would involve federal question jurisdiction, we could have a case arising, let's say, under one of the federal civil rights laws, Americans with Disabilities Act. A person may claim that they were fired from their job because of a disability, and had they been reasonably accommodated. They could have performed the essential functions of the job and shouldn't have been fired. The person might be claiming, again, under these civil rights laws, some form of race or gender discrimination. So if we went over to the local federal courthouse, U.S. District Court, we would see that some of the civil cases in front of the judges there would involve federal questions. However, and this is, I think, the area that until we study the law, we don't have a sense of. There could be, in that same courthouse, cases where the claim is under a state law, could be New York or any other state, and the reason the federal court has subject matter jurisdiction, again, is because of this diversity. And by the way, the framers of the Constitution, I'm not a big originalist like the right wing, but the framers of the Constitution in Article 3 specifically created a diversity jurisdiction. So this is something that's been around as long as the Constitution. We then have, and you see I'm scrolling down, removal jurisdiction, but I'd like to do a separate recording about removal jurisdiction. I might do another screenshot with some additional material, but I wanted to just get us up to this point of removal jurisdiction, and what you'll know by Friday is I'll have an exam, not an exam, but a 5-point quiz, and it's going to talk about some of these matters of federal subject matter jurisdiction, especially claims arising under state law. We'll also mention or cover something I've done in another posting known as piercing the corporate veil. But this will do it